Hey guys, it's day 3. We're going to work on Chaturanga today. It is an extremely challenging pose. Some might say the hardest pose of our entire practice, so give yourself breaks, pause the video, get back in if you need it, move really slow. We're going to start in a tabletop and I'm going to show you some exercises to prepare the wrists because we will be on those wrists for a little bit of time. I will not be using any props today. If you do have blocks at home and you'd like to utilize those under the shoulders or under the belly and the chest, please feel free to do that. If you have any questions about those, please feel free to message me or leave a comment underneath the video and I will respond to you. But for most of us, we might not have those props at home, so I'll try to do this breakdown of Chaturanga without. So yesterday we focused on our plank pose. If you need to refer back to that video just to make sure, checking in with your plank and figure out those little micro adjustments that you need to make if you do need to make any, and then meet me in your tabletop. So we'll come down to hands and knees. We're going to stretch the wrists before we move anywhere. So from your tabletop, find your alignment first. So even as we start to move into more of a stretch, we want to keep our body safe, drawing the belly up and in. So we're going to start by rotating the fingertips out to the sides. So your wrists are pointed towards one another. Keeping your belly engaged, guys, we're just going to start to draw some circles with the hips. So we're going to take it to the right, to the back, and to the left. So take a couple of rounds to this side, and then when you're starting to feel good, we'll switch it out and take the same amount of circles on the opposite side. Use your breath to help guide you through those. And then pausing in the center when you feel even, we're going to rotate all 10 of our fingertips now to point towards our knees. Belly's drawing up and in. And then we're just going to gently start to press the hips back towards our toes to feel the stretch in the front of, or the bottom rather, of the wrist and the forearm. So try not to push this too much. If you're very tight, this movement is going to be very small. As you can see, I'm literally only pressing maybe 1/4 of an inch, if that, back, as I'm already starting to feel it. So just be kind to your body. We're just starting to warm up. Staying firm through your core. When you feel complete here, begin to rotate all 10 of the fingertips forward. Now this one, you guys, let me turn and face you. You can do it one hand at a time or both of the hands together. So now you're going to take the palms and flip them up towards your face. So the elbows are going to point out towards the side. Now we're going to start to experience that stretch across the front of the wrist. So you can hold it right here if this is enough, or just as you did before, you're going to start to press the hips back to deepen. Does not have to be a very big movement. Please try to keep your belly pulling up and in. Long spine. Avoid letting the head fall off your body. And when you feel complete, to release the palms back down. We'll go ahead and take a seat on our heels. Just start to wiggle that out. I like to draw my hands together, interlace my fingers, and just kind of roll the wrists around, if that feels good to you. At any time, you can pause the video and come back to these wrist stretches. This is a lot on the wrist today, guys, so just be really mindful on how that feels for you. All right, so let's get to it. We're gonna start in our tabletop, and you guys, we're going to begin on our knees. I recommend staying on your knees for the first couple of times that you try this Chaturanga. I'm going to teach you a little bit different alignment than you might be used to with the arms, and it can be a lot. So just move really slow and pay attention to your body. Again, I recommend doing this by a mirror or videotaping yourself so you can see what that actually looks like. Great thing about this is that you can't always see your body in a class. So now you get the chance to slow down and kind of check out what's going on. All right, so meeting in a tabletop. Find the Hasta Bandha, pressing into the fingertips. We're drawing the wrists underneath the shoulders. Now we're going to stay on the knees, but I want you to walk the knees back a little bit so that you can start to engage your core. That belly's drawing up and in. Maybe you have that slight tilt of the tailbone down. Try to avoid clenching your glutes. Let the glute muscles be a little bit longer. And you're wrapping the arms forward so the eye of the elbow is spinning towards the front of your space. Now, very common, you guys, you'll hear your instructor cue you to hinge forward here. That's a very important part of Chaturanga. What that is doing is helping you find a 90-degree angle in the arms so that you can keep your elbow over the wrist. So if you skip the shift forward, when you start to bend the elbows are going to press back, and it's going to put a lot of pressure. Not super comfortable. So hinge forward first, shoulder tips over the fingertips. Your elbows are squeezing in towards the sides, and then lower down. So you'll notice even here my elbows are a little bit behind the wrist, so that's telling me I need to hinge forward even more. So hinge forward, lower down. Your shoulder should never dip below the elbows, 90-degree angle in the arms, press it back up. Nice job, you guys. So that's a lot, especially when you're looking for that alignment of the arm. It can feel like a challenge enough as is. The second portion that's really important here is you want to be mindful of not dumping into the shoulders. Very often in classes, I will see the shoulders dipping below the elbows. Now what that's doing is it's putting a ton of pressure on the front of your shoulder, and with time that could start to create some injury. So you want to be really mindful of that. Again, if that shift forward is very difficult for you to find that 90-degree angle in the arm, I would recommend just keeping your knees down as you start to get your body used to new alignment. All right, let's do that one more time from hands and knees. Hinging forward, squeeze the elbows in, lower down, find that 90-degree angle. Press it up, and this time we'll send it all the way back to a child's pose. Take a break. If you'd like to, you can flip your palms up towards the sky. Maybe pump the fists and wiggle the fingers around. We're just here for a couple of rounds of breath, giving the body a little break. If you need longer than I allow in this video, just pause the video and come back in when you're ready. All right, you guys, press it back up. Coming into your neutral tabletop, belly is engaged, wrists underneath the shoulders. Now this time we're going to try just the push-up with our knees lifted. One at a time, we'll extend the legs behind us and come into our plank pose. Take a couple moments here to set up your plank. Remember, we're protracting the shoulder, so you're pushing the space between the shoulder blades up rather than allowing it to dip down. Notice here the hips, try not to let them sink towards the earth or press up towards the sky. We want to keep our body in that nice long plank of wood. All right, let's get to it. Hinge it forward. Lower down, bringing the arms to a 90-degree angle. Squeeze those elbows into your ribs. Drop down to the knees. Uncurl the toes and press your booty back. Couple rounds of breath here. If you need to stretch out the wrists before you move into the third set, please feel free to do this. Roll out the shoulders, catch the breath. I mentioned it at the beginning of this video. It's a lot of work for Chaturanga. I think it's one of the very most challenging poses, so give yourself time to feel it out. All right, here we go. Third and final set. Come into your tabletop. Find your alignment first. Move really slow, you guys, so you can feel those little micro adjustments in your body. When we start to come to a vinyasa class and you're moving a little bit faster, it's harder to find it. So build that muscle memory now while you have the chance. One leg at a time, extend them behind you. Hinge forward a lot. Option to drop to the knees. Lower. Press up, high plank pose. Drop the knees and take a seat on the heels. Nice job, you guys. Again, if you have those blocks and you'd like to utilize them, they're a great tool to use to help you find the depth of your Chaturanga. Leave a message or DM me and I will give you some tips on how to use those if you have them. Thanks, guys. See you tomorrow.